Have you ever wanted to break a world record but thought you maybe don't have any kind of skill to do that, or you just didn't want to do this? Well, I think I found a way for you to set one simply making YouTube videos. In fact, some of you might already be world record holders without even realizing it. And recently I discovered that I was too, with a video I'd made being the most viewed video ever on its topic, and it actually had 300% more views than the next closest. So in this video, I'm going to show you the system I use to make the video that holds the record for views, and what's amazing about this system is cracking it will get you ahead of 90% of YouTubers. And then I'm going to point out 3 other channels who are also record holders, and what's cool is one of them could be you. But first, the bad news. And this is going to stop this view system I'm going to show you ever working for you. And that is this: the way you were taught YouTube is actually hurting your channel. In fact, it is worse than that. You've probably been taught to do the exact opposite of what actually works when it comes to getting views and return viewers. So let me explain this, because you have to break your programming to grasp my system. So I want you to guess what I'm thinking right now. Ready? If you said you are thinking about a monkey in a tutu eating a Wellington boot, you are correct. But if you said anything else, you are wrong. The point I'm trying to make is this: it is literally impossible to know exactly what someone is thinking unless you are 90s TV star Mystic Meg. So with this in mind, now pretend I'm your viewer and I've come to YouTube to watch something, and the first place I arrive is the homepage. What exact thing do I have on my mind? What do I want to watch? You don't know. You can't ever really know, because we're not mind readers. And that's why you've been taught YouTube wrong, and 90% of channels are stuck, because you were told to make videos that are trying to guess the exact thing your viewers are thinking by making your video titles super specific and cramming keywords into them. What this does is build channels who over time pick up subscribers when their videos rank in search, but when they release a new video, hardly any people come back to watch it, because when YouTube tests it with them on the homepage, the traffic source that brings people back fast and blows up channels, they all ignore it because they don't have that exact super specific problem the second they log in. So your video becomes invisible to them. And I don't know about you, but I want to build an awesome community of return viewers, not just make a subscriber number tick up. I mean, I could do that on Photoshop. It's not very satisfying. So what do? How do you unlearn the damaging approach that you currently have and start to make videos that bring people back en masse and set a record in your own niche no matter what the topic? Well, now I'm going to show you how I did just that by taking a very specific title, the type that you've been taught to make with very low view potential, and turned it in to 1 million views. And before I show you 3 more channels with world records, I'm going to show you an egg cup, which is going to make you realize the problem you might have in a split second. An egg cup? Yes, drunkhead, I said an egg cup. What else would you expect on a YouTube channel about growing YouTube channels? Low view videos, the same information repeated over and over again, boring clickbait titles and bad thumbnails? Yeah, well, apart from that. Anyway, here's how you're going to set your own record. Together, we're going to build a sandbox to design your video in. And the first step is simply to decide the size of that sandbox. Because if you want to set a world record for views, you need to find a massive topic in your niche, one every one of your viewers might find interesting. Because the more interesting it is to them, the more people will click on it, and the more watch time you will build. So for my record holder, I knew if I wanted big views, I had to pick a topic about a problem every YouTuber ever has had. And when I thought about it, that problem was scurvy. Only kidding. The topic was presenting a video. Don't be joking about scurvy. She's a cruel mistress. Okay, pirate head? No, the name's Stephanie. Anyway, presenting is really hard, and it takes us all months or even years to get good at, right? So the sandbox was vast. Step 2 is to then build the walls. So the whole point of a sandbox is the walls stop the sand from dispersing and hold everything together. In YouTube terms, these 4 walls hold your topic idea together. We'll call this wall the style, this wall the title, this one the thumbnail, and this one the story or content. Now, this is the most important part, but it's tricky, and most YouTubers will gloss over it, so it's your opportunity to shine by adopting it. All you need to do next is find a way to make your topic more remarkable using these 4 walls. So let me explain. Even though presenting to a mic or camera is a problem every YouTuber ever has had, videos about it don't really get that many views because it's not really one of those burning desire topics that stop people scrolling on the homepage. So what we need to do is turn it into one. And to do this, all you do is select your starting wall. It could be anyone, in the hope it will help you find one interesting and remarkable idea to then build your entire video around. So what is that one interesting and remarkable thing for your video going to be? Well, I can't tell you that, but what I can do is show you a way to work that out. So for example, you could discover it by turning to wall number 1, the style of a video, and then just brainstorming that in the sandbox. So if we put my video about presenting in the sandbox and think about the video style options we could adopt, I could have made it a presenting mistakes video, but then I would ask myself, is there a more remarkable or interesting way to teach people presenting that could be more clickable or unique? And when you think like that, and about what else you've seen work on YouTube in other places, it could have also been a video where I went out onto the streets and grabbed random people and then taught them how to present. The viewer would get the same information from both. However, to me, one of those sounds way more remarkable and interesting, right? Way. Oh yeah. Thanks, Drunkhead. That was actually quite helpful for you.
I like your videos.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's just say I decided to roll with the whole strangers idea. I then looked to build the other 3 walls around the style and play about with them in the sandbox to find a thumbnail and title that was highly clickable with it before I then went on to plan the story. Or you could start on another wall, so let's pick the title to play with, because you might have come up with an amazing title that nobody could resist clicking on, and then all you need to do is think about what video you could fit into it and think about the thumbnail and the story after. Now this isn't an easy thing to grasp, but it is the thing to get good at, and you will with practice. So to help, let me show you the sandbox I built for my record-breaking video in question. My first step, you already know, was to pick a big problem lots of viewers would relate to, and from there I decided to build my first wall and opted for the title to begin my sandbox thinking session in the hope that it would help me find my one remarkable and interesting thing to build all of the other walls around. I typed down a few different versions and most of them sounded pretty boring if I'm honest, but I picked one that had a little bit more intrigue to it and decided to brainstorm from there. Now here's the important thing to note. This is what we call a working title, not a final title. Next, I turned to brainstorming the content and tried to think of an interesting way to tackle this topic. Now for me, I usually try to find a good story I can tell that shows the viewer how to overcome the problem I wanted to help them solve. So to find that story, I simply played in the sandbox and did some research to try and find YouTubers whose story I might be able to tell. I checked out lots of big creators' first ever videos until I landed on Mr. Who's the Boss, and his presenting was awful years ago, and now he absolutely rocks. So we had one YouTuber's story to tell the viewers, but I wanted to see if I could find a better one, so I kept on looking. I then checked out Marcus Brownlee, and he'd overcome some really big presenting issues too, and that's when I realized I might be onto something. 2 creators in the same niche with very similar subcounts both overcame the same problem to get the same amazing result. Can you see the story starting to assemble here? And then as a result of this research, I had a eureka moment and found that one remarkable and interesting thing that I could build the whole video around. Marcus and Mr. Who's the Boss both use a ton of body language when they present, and body language is powerful, but it doesn't make a noise. So I scrubbed out my working title and wrote the silent hack YouTubers use to hook you. And suddenly the star wall of the sandbox flew into place. It would be the story of these 2 YouTubers and how they overcame the biggest problem out there. Then the thumbnail wall connected because I just needed to show them both in it. And then all that was left to do was to build the content wall, which meant writing and planning the story based all around the power of body language. And I would now have the beginnings of the most viewed YouTube video ever on presenting YouTube videos. And here's the finished result, with 300% more views than the next closest on the topic. And what's cool is, there's not a keyword in sight. You know what I love about this? 5 years ago, someone told me I gave the worst 60-second presentation they had ever seen at a networking event, and now I have the record for a video about presenting. Screw you, Mark Smith.
But you were pretty bad though. I mean, look at this video.
So you clicked on our LinkedIn advert, and it's taken you here to our glorious landing page.
Drunk Ed, you swore you would never show anyone.
It wasn't me, it was Stephanie.
I'm sorry, Ed, it's true. It was me. But you gave me no choice. Why have I gone Irish? But this is where most YouTubers come undone. It is so important to realize that even when you start planning your video, you might suddenly have a revelation that something else would make a more remarkable and interesting version of it. That's the whole point of the sandbox. It's a journey of discovery. So don't be afraid to backtrack and rebuild in the sandbox if you find a better idea later on, because it could be a game changer for your channel. I mean, I'd actually planned about 50% of the video that you're watching right now, but I suddenly realized that my working title, which was how to get ahead of 90% of YouTubers, wasn't the best because a line spilled out of my brain when I was writing it that said something like, I actually used this system to generate the most views ever on a video about presenting YouTube videos. And I was like, wow, that is so much more remarkable and interesting. That is the thing to build everything around this video. So the thumbnail, the title, the intro, the ending, and every word I would write could then be tied to this single premise. But we're not done in the sandbox yet. Oh no, the next step is to play around in it a little bit more and create your intro and your ending. Yes, that's right, we plan our ending first. Why? Well, think of it like this. Imagine you wanted to build a sand turtle in your sandbox. You know how to shape it because you have an end vision in mind. And that means if your turtle suddenly starts to look like a cat, you stop and you adjust it. Now think about what works on YouTube. All you have to do is get people to watch a video to the end, right? So if you plan an ending they care about, you stand way more of a chance writing an intro that helps them get there. The cool thing about this is it's also going to help you stay on track when writing your videos because you can delete anything in the story that doesn't take the viewer towards that ending. And then you can piece the middle together. Moving us on to the next step where you film and edit the thing. There are many ways to make a video. This is just one example of the sandbox in action, but if it's a vlog or a gaming video you're making, this is still the same process. You need to work out the one remarkable and interesting thing about your topic to build every other element around. Which brings us on to the biggest problem you as a YouTuber really have right now, and it's down to this egg cup shape.
Ugh, here we go.
What?
You and your stupid metaphor.
You know I can literally just delete you from this video, right?
No, you miss watching me twerk.
It's true, I would. So if you want to be in the top 10% of YouTubers and grow a channel and a business, this is where the results are made. I cannot express this enough. The larger the section of the egg cup, the more important the task is to grow on YouTube. Now the egg cup's going to look different depending on your niche and your style, but this shape is based on a regular talking head video, and this top half is the sandbox where all your results are going to come from. So if your egg cup looks like this, you might have just discovered why you're not getting the views you want. This top half and everything I've just shown you is where all the views are on YouTube now. Bring us on to some YouTubers who might not know it yet, but they also have a record for views on videos because they found more interesting and remarkable ways to present their topic. Like this one here from the Toaster Challenge, who has the world record for views on a video about generating electricity with manpower. Can we get a round of applause? Or this video here from Vsauce, which holds the world record for views on a video about how computers trick us into seeing color. Or the Yappy Beeman, and I love this, who holds the world record for views on a video about removing a swarm of bees. I'm telling you now, if he had called this how to remove a swarm of bees, and then just given step-by-step instructions in a list from his studio, it wouldn't have gotten more than 30 million views. It wouldn't have even got 1 million or 500,000. It might not have even got 10 because there's nothing remarkable about that. He thought differently though and gave it a title which combined with the thumbnail is just so appealing. I actually really enjoyed watching that video. I learned a lot too. In fact, all of these videos without the sandbox could have just been set up as more dry and less interesting ideas that stated the obvious with some sort of specific boring keyword stuffed in the title, but they led 100% with what is more interesting and remarkable, and it worked. And if you want to go deeper on this topic, and I really suggest you do because it's next level YouTube stuff and it does take practice to grasp, the best thing to do is to understand how even more YouTubers play about in the sandbox, and this video here is going to show you how we used it to generate millions of views for another YouTuber, so make sure you watch that next.
It's pretty much exactly the same as the video you just watched. Classic YouTube.
Anyway, I'm off to break a world record on a video about breaking records on a very niche video topic. Am I going to get away with that?